What is going on with NoSQL database and enterprise application? In this video, I give you an overview. NoSQL database become way easier to handle for a couple reasons. I will enumerate just three. So the first one is because it is way easier to handle the whole complexity infrastructure of database with the cloud native aspect. For example, we have the database as a service where I can delegate the whole complexity of handling and maintaining the database. So I don't need to handle more the sharding, the parsing, the backup, the update of the database, and so on. So I can delegate the whole complexity to somebody else. For example, if I want to use Oracle NoSQL right now, I can use that in the cloud using Oracle infrastructure. If I want to use MongoDB and I don't want to handle the complexity, I can use MongoDB Atlas, exploring the whole capability as software developer without caring anything about the maintainability of the system anymore. The second aspect is AI. AI become more often discussed. Naturally, it's impossible to deny it. And we are discussing more not only use AI to generate code, but as part of our solution. So we are discussing, for example, several AI patterns. For example, the RAG, where I put context inside the database and the LLM can use that and take the best decision approach. And when we talk about RAG, we are not discussing relational database, but a NoSQL database, that is the vector database. The third reason is the consequence of the first one, because it's way cheaper to use database, it's way easy to use database. The consequence is I can explore more often the Polyglot persistence inside my enterprise application. The idea is pretty similar with a Polyglot person, where you can use the best language based in where you are. For example, I can speak Portuguese when I'm in Brazil, English when I'm in US or in England, or French, Italian, and so on. So as much language I can speak is way easier, is natural and fluent to adapt to that situation where I am. That's the same idea, but using database. So if I know more database, I can use the best database based on the approach instead of force using a single database, doesn't matter what. So right now we can have the option to explore more often those flavors. With over 200 NoSQL database solutions, we have more than the most popular types. So in NoSQL, we don't have a standard like we do have in relational database. And one way to define categories and type is based on how those providers are storing these informations. So right now we have 6, not only 4. So key value, where the structure looks like a map in Java. So I have a key where I will treat the information based on value. The column family, or one column, where the goal is based on the same key. I can break down the information in the value side, so I can break down in times piece that we call column. Document, where you can think on JSON file or XML file. Graph, where I can do a deeper relationship, even deeper than a relational database, where I have one object to handle those informations. So I can define directions, I can find and put properties of my relationships, and so on. And we have the time series to handle and drive by time, where you can put, for example, bank transactions, operation transactions, and so on. And naturally, the vector database, where I put the whole information to explore using RAG, for example. Going to Java and NoSQL, we have a couple solutions. The first one is going using directly the driver of the NoSQL database, but you need to handle a huge amount of boilerplate, because those are pretty similar with JDBC or communication layer, where you need to do the conversions to your Java objects. Going to a solution that contains a mapping, we have the most popular one, that is Spring Data NoSQL, where you can use a repository and templates to handle that. Going to the Java standards inside the Java Enterprise or Jakarta EE, I'm glad to say that we have the Jakarta NoSQL, where we can handle the annotations, and we have the template interface, and we also have Jakarta Data, where you can use and explore those interfaces to work with NoSQL database. So it's up to you to choose between those solutions. My advice to you is naturally go with this mapping. Otherwise, you need to go to the communication. Therefore, you need to do these conversions, and more code means more bugs. So that is it for today. If you want to learn, enhance more your capability as software engineer or software architect, subscribe in this channel.